It just cuts off. But, there's a little bit at the end of that where it cuts off. And unfortunately, I don't have the files anymore that was from. So, hi, Ian. How you doing? It's good to see you.
Good. Doing good.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for coming in and hanging out with us. I see a bunch of cool people here already. Again, I mean, most of you guys know, but this whole first hour here, Ian and I, we're just going to have a conversation. We're going to learn about Ian, what he does, where he lives, who he does, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll open it up the second half for you guys to ask questions of him and learn more about him too. And if you would, please, mods, I see a lot of amazing mods in here. If you see somebody coming in saying stuff, make sure you let them know that we're not even looking at the chat at all. We don't see any of those questions, and to save those for the second part, if you would, please. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to bring up before we jumped in? No, I'm getting rid of the chat. Chat's going away. Chat is gone.
It's gone. It's already out of here.
It's gone. So
that's what I love about StreamYard.
What I do is I pop out the YouTube chat, and I just have it next to the window in StreamYard. So I've got the YouTube chat instead of I don't even look at the StreamYard chat at all, which I should, because we are on Facebook too right now. So, and I never see the Facebook comments ever because I never look. So, because it's Facebook, and F you, Facebook. Eekians. Do you mind that nickname?
No, I think it's kind of cool. And for some reason, my boss randomly started using it. Just picked it up out of nowhere. I'm like, how did you figure out about that nickname? And she's like, I don't know, put your first name and your last name together. And
okay.
And I'm just like, okay.
You sure she's not like stalking you and seeing you online and,
I don't talk about my YouTube stuff, so I don't know.
Because that would be creepy.
Yeah.
I like it. Danny from Danikin was the one who came up with it on accident, right? And when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, that's sticking. I just absolutely love it. Eekians just suits you so well. Okay, so you live in the Pacific Northwest. You're in not Seattle. You're in Portland,
Oregon. Yep.
Okay.
I've been here for Go ahead. Oh, I've been here for like 10 years now. In Portland.
Okay. And you've always lived in Oregon, or have you moved around quite a bit? Is Oregon?
I've moved around a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, different. Just in Oregon or across the United States?
Across the United States. So I was born in Washington, and I lived in Washington for a few years as a youngster, and then moved to Oregon, and throughout like Southeast Portland and Gresham and like Oregon City, then City Bend, which is like more southern and it's like all desert and grass. And then I moved to Arizona for like 4 or 5 years, and Arizona is quite different.
Yeah. What part? Where were you at in Arizona?
It started in Payson for 2 years, which is like up in the high mountains, and it got actual snow, more snow than I ever saw in Portland.
Yeah. Payson's nice. I like Payson.
It is.
Payson's on the Mogollon Rim, I think, right? Or is that Prescott? I've been getting those confused since I moved away. I think it's Payson.
They're both really close. Prescott and Payson, Flagstaff area.
Cholo. I can't remember any of the other little towns, but I love that area. It's beautiful. Mostly Ponderosa pines, and we used to go camping up there when I lived around the Phoenix area. We used to always go up north because it's just, when you live in the desert, that's amazing. It looks all green. And now I look at it, it doesn't even really look that green compared to where I live now. But okay, so you lived mostly in the northern part, you said. Did you move around in Arizona too?
I did move around in Arizona, so I went down south and I lived in Phoenix and Scottsdale, Tempe, a little bit in Mesa.
Okay.
But it was mostly Phoenix and Tempe.
And what years were that? What time was that?
That was around 2010 to 2013.
Okay, I was long gone. That would have just been cool because that's where Tempe, Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert, that whole
they all meet up. It's like all one giant city, but they're all different cities. It's really weird.
that's where I lived for a very long time in that side of Phoenix. So that would have been funny if we had, you know, you came into my Peter Piper Pizza where I used to work, like that. That would have been hilarious. And you were with family, obviously, right? When you lived in there.
Yeah, I was with my dad.
Okay. And then you just got tired of it, or he got tired of it? What made you move back to that part of the country, back to the Pacific Northwest?
Things happened. I got into some trouble. He got into some trouble. So I went back up home where I didn't get into trouble.
Okay. I understand. I've had my share of trouble. So yes, I've definitely been there. Okay. So, and you said that was about 2012 or so. Then you went back back up there.
2013 is when I came back home.
Okay. And then you've been there since.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Been here since.
And do you feel like traveling? Do you feel? I mean, you're pretty. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
24 years old.
Yeah. I have clothes older than you.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff older than you, which, you know, that's what happens when you get old.
I have toys older than me, man. I have Star Wars action figures.
Nice.
Here. This is Chewbacca from, where is it?
Let's show our Wookiees.
1977.
Yes. And they're discolored.
Yes. That is so cool.
Yeah, I can't read the bottom of it. It's actually not on the bottom. Oh, it's on the back of his leg, right?
It's on the back.
I can't read it. This one's on his back leg, but I can't read it. I got a magnifying glass. Hold on. We got to know now. We got to know. Maybe our Wookiees are aligned. I still can't. Oh, it helps that it's upside down. But I'm really showing my age here, huh? And I still. Oh yeah, 1977. Yep. That's funny. That's funny.
I've got a bunch of those, and I've got some newer ones. Like this is the earlier 2000s Greedo with this pistol. I've got a bunch of those all put in boxes now, but.
So it's not just Chewbacca; it's just Star Wars stuff. You enjoy Star
Wars. I have so much Star Wars memorabilia. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
I'm a big Star Wars geek.
Nice. Me too. I mean, I'm not a huge. I love the shows though. I remember standing in line to watch The Empire Strikes Back, the premiere of Empire Strikes Back. I can't remember the name of the theater, but it was like 4 hours waiting in line for that when it came out originally. I collected Wookiees because that was my nickname at the one place where I worked. They either called me the Lorax. Mm-hmm. At first, they called me the Wookiee. That they let the Wookiee win and stuff. But then I wrecked my car and I hit some trees and destroyed my car. And because the Lorax was the keeper of the trees, I was the Lorax after that, after just about killing myself by hitting a tree. All right. So anyways, what is it about Star Wars that you like so much? Is it your favorite of that type of stuff, or?
It's like my favorite movie franchise of all time. It's like the best. It's got sci-fi, action, and just the philosophical, the ways of the Force, and how it's like really deeply entwined with how like we look at ourselves, and like the politics, which I know I don't want to go into politics, but the politics that go into Star Wars, if you really look at it, is basically us. And it's made me reflect on some things, and it like gets really deep if you don't look at it as just space lasers and action.
Yeah. I get you. I'm there with you. Especially the unifying thing. And we're all part of it. I think that too. I think that there's a phrase. It's called Ubuntu, which is also Linux, but that came from I can't remember the language. I'm sorry. It's a South African language. I can't remember which one, but it means basically that I am who I am because you are who you are. It's because we're all connected, and I've always loved that interconnectedness, and Star Wars definitely brings that home. You're going to upset some people though. How about Star Trek? Are you a Star Trek fan too?
I do like Star Trek. I like the older shows. Like I watched a lot of that because I didn't have cable TV, so it was the old Star Trek and like westerns and Cubo, which was for little kids. But other than that, it was westerns and the Sci-Fi Channel.
What kind of westerns too? I mean, do you remember any of them that stood out to you?
Oh man, Wanted Dead or Alive, Bonanza. Some other ones.
Wild Wild West, the TV show.
Wild Wild West. I'm trying to think of some other ones that were really good.
Wiki Wow. That was the movie. That was my Will Smith. That's the best I can do.
My memory is escaping me, but Bonanza and Wanted Dead or Alive were like my favorite.
I big Western fan too. So yeah, another thing.
And Star Wars. Getting back to Star Wars is like a space western.
Yeah,
you know, I like that.
Especially now, do you like the new TV shows and stuff too, like the Mandalorian and stuff like that?
I love the new shows because Dave Filoni is having a lot of input, and Dave Filoni in the Rebels show was really good. And I think that his input into the new show, since we're not really having George Lucas anymore, Dave Filoni is like the new George Lucas, and I think he's taking Star Wars to a good direction with the shows.
I agree.
The movies, not so much. I wasn't into them, but the shows I'm liking them.
I did like the movies, not obviously as much as the original three, the middle three, but the originals. But the TV shows I think are just really good because again they're tying all that different stuff in and filling in the gaps, of our knowledge of the world, and they are different. Like oh God, what's the one? Andor.
Andor was totally different.
Yeah,
that didn't really feel like a Star Wars to me.
Yeah,
but it was still Star Wars.
That's why I like it, because you can have all those different, like the Marvel universe is sort of the same type of thing. You've got like the Deadpools, like this guy right here.
I love the Deadpool movies.
Yeah, so do I. I can't wait for the next one. But you've also got, some horror with that, the last movie there, Doc Strange movie. There's a lot of comedy. You've got the different stuff in there too. And it checks all the boxes for me. All right. Well,
that's one thing I wish Star Wars would do is horror, because I think that would be really freaking cool. There's some novels that I've read, like I think it's called Dead Space or something. No, Death Trooper is the novel, and that is a really good book.
Just a warning, we got weather alerts and stuff, and there's actually a tornado alert, tornado watch. So just in case I'm not worried about the tornado, but just in case I lose power or something, because the wind is crazy right now and it's raining really hard. So if I go away, I will try and come back, but I'll message you somehow and let you know on my phone though. So just in case. All right. Well, we sort of jumped ahead because that's more hobby stuff that we're going to talk about later on. And I know that like Nano Aquarium guy likes to ask, what your favorite stuff is. So we'll just back up a little bit.
All right.
So why did you way back? You talked about leaving there and going to Arizona. Was there a reason? Was it just a change of scenery for you? Was there stuff that happened at home as well? You sort of wanted to get away from, or what made you go to Arizona?
I just followed my dad.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So, and you still have a lot of family there where you live now?
Where I'm at now, yeah. All my family is in the Northwest. My dad is he was kind of excluded and from the family, and
okay.
My mom had legal custody, but she was okay with me going with him, and I went with him just to make sure he didn't do nothing too crazy. I mean, he was in and out of jail, and I was getting into trouble, and yeah.
So
it wasn't a good fit overall.
Yeah. So and you decided there was enough was enough, and you were going to head back home to where
Yeah.
it was a little more stable situation.
Yeah.
You sort of mentioned that before too when we were talking, and you said that you were sort of going down a bad path, but the hobby sort of got you away from that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and what? I mean, again, you don't have to go into details, but you were doing, how did you discover the hobby and what, how did it get you out of that?
Well, when I came back from Arizona, I still had my habits of drinking and smoking a ton of weed. And when I got here, I met a ton of new people and I started experimenting with other stuff, stronger stuff. We don't need to say what it is, but I was doing that, and then I started noticing the people around me just dropping and not looking good, and I was not looking good. I still don't consider myself looking good, and I'm trying to get my health up, but I just kind of stopped hanging out with them. And I was a dropout in high school. I went to a youth builders program to get my GED and like a pre-apprenticeship thing. And I just was watching videos. I was going fishing. So I was always going fishing on the weekends. That was like my thing, just fishing. And I was watching videos of this guy fishing and catching fish to put in an aquarium. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I went into that. I went to Goodwill. I got me a cheap ass 20-gallon tank.
Do you still have it?
I still have that tank,
Okay.
but I don't have the fish anymore. I gave them up to somebody with a bigger tank. And I went and caught me a bluegill, and I got all the rocks, all the sand, plants, everything from the river, and I made like this totally natural tank. And that started it all. And then I upgraded to this 55, but it was over there.
How old were you? Too. How old were you when you got that first tank? About how old were you then?
19.
Okay, so you've been doing it 5-6 years. Okay.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, about 5 years.
Pretty steady too. I mean, did you have any lulls in there where you didn't keep any fish, or you've been pretty steady? Yeah,
kept going up.
Yeah,
It just kept going up. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm coming down a little bit on the numbers. Like, I want less smaller tanks. I want more bigger tanks. Like, I've got this is a 40 and a 55. I've got a 20 down here. But I used to have like 24 tanks, a bunch of 10s and 15s, 5s, and they were all like breeder tanks, just breeding guppies and selling them and trying to line breed them. And I got some pretty crazy looking guppies out of it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any footage or anything of those? Did you? Is there any out there, like on old videos on your channel or anything of those ones?
There's old videos of it. There's pictures on my Instagram. And
Okay.
My Instagram is the same as YouTube.
Okay, cool. And I did see that. I think it was Zen Ginger. I can't remember. Somebody did already drop your link. So I gotta imagine there's 48 people right now. So I imagine all 48 of those people already are subscribed to you. But hey, people, if you're not, he has a wealth of knowledge. He really does. I mean, people are constantly asking him questions about stuff, and not just freshwater, but saltwater too, which we'll get into. But you owe it to yourself, really, to go subscribe to him, and then I guarantee you're going to like the content over there. So
there's a ton of videos. A ton of videos. I've made so many videos, and I need to get back to freshwater, which I'm going to soon. We're going back to freshwater videos soon.
Have you been focused more on keeping saltwater too, or is that are you still keeping as much freshwater? I mean, or is your focus shifted that way, or is it just the videos that you happen to create?
It's just the videos that I'm pushing out happen to be all saltwater, but I still have all my freshwater fish. It's just
Gotcha.
this 55 is taken down because I don't like the seals on it. They're kind of shady. And I got a new 65 breeder for my festivums and my sebrum and all my catfish, and it's going to be a total black waterscape. It's got a sump, so it's going to be a pretty nice system.
And are you documenting that as you go to and showing it to us?
Yeah, I will be. Right now, I'm just trying to finish the stand because the stand looks like crap, and I want it to look nice. And then once all that dirty work is out of the way, then I'm gonna start doing the filming process of building the scape, plumbing the tank together, showing you guys that it's not that difficult to do a sump.
I have never done
cool.
I've never done one. I've seen a ton of people do them. I know a lot of people in our community are doing them, and I just never did. I'm happy with what I've got now. Maybe I'll try it someday. I mean, I know the benefits of it. I've watched enough videos to understand, but
well, sumps aren't for everybody, but some tanks should have a sump. That, like big cichlid tanks, instead of running them with a bunch of FX canisters that are 400 or 500 piece.
Yeah,
you can do a sump for the same price, and you can have so much more capacity, and it'll be so much more easier to clean than a canister filter.
it is really raining. I mean, like it's
coming down, huh?
I don't know if you can hear it yet. I also have a fan blowing, so you probably can't even hear it, but like crazy, which it's too bad it's dark here because I love watching it, and it keeps distracting me. I haven't heard any rolls of thunder yet, so that's good, but the wind is crazy. It's like howling, and it's beautiful. Wish I could see it. Anyways, where was I at with it? We were talking about the sumps. You're going to get back into the freshwater stuff. So again, you started keeping fish because you saw, was it a YouTube video?
Mm-hmm.
The YouTube video about somebody catching them and keeping them in there, and then it just took off from there, and you just absolutely loved it. And I don't want to use the word saved you, but it definitely
took my mind off the other crap, off the evil crap. You know, this is good. This brings life. You know, like I think I found my purpose finally. Like I've never been more motivated to do something than with these stupid glass boxes.
And why do you think it is? What is the big appeal for you? What is it that you like so much about it? Can you even put it into words?
It's very hard to describe. It's just the life that comes with it, the pets that I've made for, like, I've had this guy for a year now, and I plan to have him for many more years. And same with a lot of these fish, and they're just really cool. And the fact that I can grow plants or grow corals with these fish and create different ecosystems in each tank is like, it's crazy. You have no other hobby that other than like reptiles and plants, but like video games, RC, like whatever kind of stuff other people do, it's not as in thriving, I would say.
Gotcha. It's not as positive, and you're growing things. You're you know, and you know the part I like,
the people I have met in the last 4 to 5 years. I mean, I've really come out of my shell. I used to be like this little hermit, but
really,
I love the people that I've met in like the last 3-5 years that I've been doing this. And I can't believe I've been doing this for like almost 5 years that I think about it, because I still consider myself a newbie and new to this, and I don't try to like put my opinion on things too much, but I still have a strong opinion on things.
Well, I see that because you don't just tell people things, oh, you got to do this, but like I said earlier, people do come to you quite often and ask you questions. Like you do have a wealth of knowledge, and I see it all the time. Somebody will even throw it, somebody will ask a question in the chat, and I think my video's lagging. It is. Hopefully it's not too bad. Somebody will have a question in the chat, and they'll say, well, ask Ian. Ian knows. Ian does that, or Ian's done that. I see it all the time. So for a younger person, well, it's like we've got a lot of younger people. And I say young, you're not young, but to me, I have kids older than you. So that makes me feel old, and I hate it.
I'm young and I'm loud.
What's that?
I'm young and I'm loud.
Really? See, I don't get that loud part from you. I actually, you're very, you seem, when I watch you on videos and stuff and in your live streams, you seem very stable. And sure, you have fun and you say things once in a while, but it's not, I don't know, it's not like big, crazy, loud, look at me kind of stuff. It's more, I don't know. You don't, there's some people that are younger that I can't watch. I just can't watch because they're more for other people their age, right? They really just the slang and everything, and you do a little bit of that because that's who you are, but at the same time you're not. I'm very comfortable watching your videos, watching your live streams. I don't know. So you do a good job of talking to a lot of different groups. Right, a lot of different groups, age groups, a lot of different age groups. Okay, let's talk about different. You know what? No, let's shift gears a little bit. I know you're in a long-term relationship, right?
Yep.
You guys are not married though, right?
Not married,
but you live together.
We live together, and yeah.
And how long has that been?
Probably 6-7 years at this point. It's going to be 6 years.
Okay.
In December, because we've known each other since freshman in high school, but we didn't really get together since more like sophomore or senior year, or sophomore or junior.
That's cool. It's Kat, right?
Yep, Kat.
And is she there right now? Is she watching?
She might be watching. She might not be.
Okay. I was just going to say we could tell secrets if you wanted to, but if she's watching, maybe you don't want to get yourself in trouble. But she also likes keeping fish, and she has a couple tanks of her own as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she likes to fish as well. She likes totally different fish than I do, which is cool. And she creates way better tanks than I do because she doesn't tinker with them all the time. So her tanks just look great.
And is she mostly freshwater too then? Or does she
She's
keep
all freshwater.
Okay.
She wants to do a little saltwater tank soon with like mushroom anemones and little sexy shrimp is what they call them. They're little red shrimp. They look like kind of like carradina shrimp in freshwater, but they wave their little butts in the waves, and they're kind of cool.
I was like, so they're called little sexy shrimp or just sexy shrimp?
Just sexy shrimp.
That's weird. The name, but it's because of their little dance they do. Is that gotcha?
Sexy dance.
That's funny. And did she come along with you with the fish keeping? Was she already interested before you guys got together? Was that something you both sort of grew in together, or?
It was both something we did together because we both were into fishing, and so we would go on fishing trips. But I was the one watching videos and trying to learn more about stuff in fishing, and then I saw this fish tank stuff, and I was like, "Hey, we should get a fish tank." And she was like, all about it because she used to have a fish tank when she was younger.
Okay. See, I'm a little jealous of that. That's awesome. We do have quite a few couples in our community, and that's amazing. My wife has no interest whatsoever in the fish, which is okay. I mean, we have plenty of other things we do, but it would be nice to have somebody here that none of the kids are interested. My daughter has an axolotl, but that's it. They're not. Once in a while I make them come in and say, because something really cool happened. I'm like, look at this, and they're like, oh yeah, that is cool. Don't patronize me. Get the hell out.
I know that fucking. I don't even bother to ask or show the family members. They're like glazes over their eyeballs.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Thanks. That's why it's so nice to have this, because I don't get out of the house much, so having this community that we can share those types of things with is just priceless to me. It's an amazing community. How did you find the Fish Fam too? How did you get involved with all that? How did that journey start?
Oh, this was pre-COVID,
Okay.
I think, and I watched an LRB video of Daniken Aquatics Fish House tour, and he said he was in Portland, Oregon, and I was like, oh shit, Portlander into fish.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out about the wet spot, and I found Kenny. I watched his channel. He did a live stream, and then he did a community tab for Sand Creek Aquatics, and Kenny was on there, and a bunch of others like Big J.
Which he doesn't come around much
Eric.
anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that don't come around anymore, which they're either busy or who knows. But
they come.
I still think about them, and yeah, they're kind of what got me started. And then just all the sharing links in the chat and me clicking on the subscribe and seeing all these people, it just rolls.
Yeah. And that's a little bit different because most people come in, like almost everybody says they come in through like Corey, from the co-op or KG. LRB is a definitely a different one and a good one too. No disrespect to him at all, but it's just different that you came in that route.
Lucas is so smart. His old videos of when he was doing this high-tech planted stuff, like he's got the goods. If you need to know planted stuff, ask LRB, and he knows a ton about fish. He's just a wizard.
I got to meet him. He's one of the people I got to meet 2 years ago at the Keystone Clash. He was one of the speakers, and him and his wife and Wesley, his young son, hung out with us till like 2 o'clock in the morning in the parking lot. So we got to hang out and get to know him pretty well. So that was cool.
He was.
Go ahead.
He was at Fishtoberfest, and that's where I got to meet him and hang out. We hung out at Daniken's for, I don't know what time we left, but it was a good time.
Who else was there that time? Do you remember?
Oh, it was.
Was this was last year? So Skipper and Steve.
That was the year before.
Okay.
The year before, the first year at Fishtoberfest, it was Lucas, Alex, Dr. Anthony, Bob was there, Steenfot, Shanna, Ryan from PNW.
Yeah, good. Great group. I'm jealous. Those are all people that. Lucas was the only one I've met out of those, but I know Dr.
And Dan Stitch was there.
Oh, see, I'm going to get to meet him.
That was a cool guy. He's really smart too, and then we got to geek out about rainbow fish and the gudgeons that Kenny was holding for Dan. Those gudgeons that he won. What's crazy, he was holding them for Dan and won them in a raffle.
But that's a great group of people right there, and that's a lot of fish knowledge too. And
I'm probably forgetting some others, but
sure. Yeah, it's hard to remember. That's why I try not to do names, because no matter what, I always forget somebody, and it's usually somebody who's very important to me. But I every single time I forget somebody's name. So still, that's every single one of those people are people that are on my short list to meet. And Dan, I will be meeting soon. Bentley, I'll be meeting soon.
That was another one. He was there.
Nice. Yeah. See, so much fish knowledge. So, and did you just sit back and sort of absorb it? Or, because I know all those people, I should say I know them, but I feel like they would be wanting your input and they would want you in the conversation. Like they're not just over there talking at you, they would bring you into the conversation. Or were you just sort of starstruck and sort of hung back a little bit?
It was kind of crazy. It wasn't there was some fish talk, like getting to know each other, like, oh, what fish do you keep? But really, it was just a bunch of banter and laughter and just
gotcha,
having a good time.
Yeah.
Some crazy stories.
can't wait for the Keystone Clash. We're what, 5 weeks away from it now, something like that. And again, if anybody, if you live on the East Coast or if you can make it to Morgantown, Pennsylvania, last year there was 65 of us roughly, and I said this a whole bunch of times, but there's probably going to be about 100 of us this year, just from the community. Not overall. Overall, there's hundreds of people that go to the event, but just little channels that are going to this event, people from the community. It's probably going to be 100 of them. So one of these days, Ian, hopefully you can make it this way.
Oh, I'm definitely making it down there. And that's one of those events that's not like Aquashella, or any of those big events that's big. That's a club event, that's put on by actual fish clubs.
Yeah.
So you going there is benefiting those clubs and supporting those clubs.
Yeah.
And we got to support these clubs.
Yeah.
Telling you, because right now, I don't know about other people's clubs, but our clubs are a little bit slower, especially pre-COVID numbers are
gotcha.
Like they're not the same as they used to be. Like there used to be over 100 people attending auctions every month, and now we barely get like 40 people attending auctions. That's a good month.
Well,
so
that's another reason why it's so good to see people like you, because you are younger, and a lot of us, there's people that middle-aged and later, I think is the majority of the hobby. So getting younger people interested is super important. It's
mm-hmm.
And it's not important here on YouTube. That's not important. Getting people. It's just important in the hobby itself to get younger people involved. So, okay. What do we got? We still got plenty of time here. So, let's talk about different hobbies. Do you even do anything different? Are you, you said Star Wars. Do you get into movies and TV show a lot? Do you play video games? What are some of the other things you do with your spare time?
So, not really.
Okay.
I like the new Star Wars shows when they come out, and I take time to watch the new episodes on Disney because I pay for that because I watch a lot of movies on there.
Yeah.
But I don't really watch a lot of movies, but Kat watches more movies, and so we'll watch movies together. There's a movie on Netflix we got to watch, the Puss in Boots 2. That's a cool one that we haven't watched yet. So
I don't know if is that one an old one or is it?
No, it's a new one. I think it came out last year, but we haven't watched it. And
it's the Shrek world, right? It's that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just
making sure. Also on there, the TV show Twisted Metal. No, wait, that's on Hulu, not on Netflix. That's on Hulu. I forgot where we watched it. If you get a chance, watch it. Twisted Metal from the video game. It's sort of campy. It's gory, but it's campy gore, and it's great. So if you get a chance, watch that. But so you don't really watch a lot of TV other than the Star Wars stuff. Do you play any video games? Do you like to read? What other kind of stuff do you do?
So I used to read a lot, and then I discovered Audible. So I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, and
Gotcha.
I've re-listened to a lot of the books that I've read, and that's really nice because I wasn't able to read everything in the same order, and because some of those books are in order.
Yeah. And is it mostly Star Wars stuff in that too that you listen to, or is it all kinds of
All
stuff?
Star Wars, nothing else. It's just all the Star Wars books.
Okay, and they're no longer. A lot of that is no longer canon, though, right? I remember a lot of people were talking. They were very upset that most of that is not
canon anymore, which pisses me off.
Yeah,
which makes sense because if it was, it would have totally killed the new movies that they put out.
Yeah.
Because
it does get difficult at some point because you've got so many different things to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. One of the guys who wrote some Chuck Wendig. I can't remember his last name. Does that sound familiar? I think he did like the Thrawn. I can't
the Thrawn novels. I haven't done those yet. I haven't started those yet. That's the the series I need to start before the Ahsoka series comes out because I'm really excited about that, and I'm really interested about Thrawn because I don't know much about him.
Yeah. I think I could be wrong. I could be getting them confused with a different writer. He's written a bunch of other sci-fi stuff that I really enjoy that has nothing to do with Star Wars, but I know he's written some of those too. I do have a lot of the Star Wars original comics from like the 70s. I have a bunch of those that were, well, they weren't mine actually. I bought them later on because mine were all destroyed. But do you get into those at all in the comic books with Star Wars, or does it not really?
Not really the comic books. Another hobby that I was into, not Star Wars related or movie related or video games, but was cars. I really loved cars. I still love cars. I love Mazda engines, the rotary engines. I just find them fascinating. The way it's just a Dorito that turns, and this Dorito that turns is creating combustion in a complete cycle. And it doesn't use as many parts as a regular piston engine. And it's just this little block that can totally kill your little LS or those big LSs because they're huge blocks that are just inefficient. But rotaries still have their flaws. But yeah, cars are huge for me. Like I love the Japanese 90s style Supras, the Subarus, the Nissan R32s and R34s.
Mazda, because you said rotaries. They were big with the rotaries, right?
Yep, Mazdas are the only ones doing rotaries right now, commercially that I know of.
I don't know anything about cars, really. I've had my share of different things, Volkswagens and things, but
I've been watching this one car build for I feel like 9 years now. This guy built from the ground up this RX-7 Mazda to be this badass 4-wheel drive, 4-rotor car, which is totally custom. Like he built up everything. There's nothing left except for little parts of the frame that's original on the car.
That's amazing.
And it makes like great stupid horsepower numbers, and this thing's just stupid, but it's street legal.
The attention to detail that you have to do something like that. I think that's why I'm not a car guy, because I don't have that. All those intricate little parts moving together. I don't have it. I'm not interested in it. It's too much for my brain to. It overwhelms me, even thinking about all the different stuff that's going on just to, so you can drive down the street. I mean, there's so many different things involved in it. It's amazing.
Like I was in a mechanics class and I was lucky. My mechanics teacher was a JDM guy. He worked for Subaru.
I don't know what that for JDM. What's
so
JDM?
That's a Japanese domestic import or motorsport. Something like that. I don't know, but Japanese imported cars.
Okay.
And he worked for Subaru and then worked for Formula Drift for Ryan Turek, which is like a big name drifter. And he built insane cars that just were fast. And he would bring in these badass cars that he built and have us work on them and learn about them.
And that was high school or
that was an alternative program because I got kicked out of high school.
Gotcha. I understand. That's cool that I was available though.
Mm-hmm. That was really the class I liked.
Were you okay? So you were in the cars before that. That right? That wasn't the thing that made you get into cars and gave you the interest. You were already very interested in them.
I was already interested into the cars, and I saw the motorsport program, and I was like, okay, I'll try that just because it was interesting. And then I saw the teacher, and I was like, oh shit, you did this and this, and I'm like, I already know about all this and this. Let's go. And so we were like bouncing ideas off each other. He was really excited for me to get my license because he wants to drive, but I haven't talked to him in a long time. I need to talk to him.
You said you don't have your license now?
No, I still got it. He was excited when I got my license.
Excited when you got your license. Okay. And what do you drive today? Do you drive something like that?
Nothing now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because my car is broken. And cars are stupidly expensive, especially those Japanese cars. The market on them is just stupid. I ain't got money for that.
I
But
understand.
I am getting a Jeep soon. I'm excited about that. It's
Nice.
coming from my boss. She doesn't have any days off right now. So I got promoted to assistant manager. So hopefully I can relieve her for a couple days so she can get some days off and get the car going. And so that'll happen pretty soon now because
What kind of Jeep too? What kind of Jeep is it?
it'll be a 99 Grand Cherokee.
Okay. I had one of those. I can't remember what year mine was. That thing did over 300,000 miles on it, though. We put a lot of miles on our cars. It was over 300,000 miles, and I didn't really put hardly any major money into it. The tires were the most expensive thing on the thing. It just ran. So I can't remember what year it was. It probably was. I think it was like around 2000 or so, because it was quite a long time ago. But they just ran forever. And I know we have, like Mike from All Things Fish is very much into Jeeps. He does all kinds of stuff with Jeeps. He's in Jeep clubs and stuff.
And I was raised by Jeeps. My mom's side, all they had were Jeep Cherokees or Wranglers, or we had an old like 95 CJ7. That thing was cool, and it was custom painted in an Audi TT gray. It was like a factory paint job for one of the Audi TTs, but painted on a Jeep Wrangler, and it was really nice.
When I think of CJ7s, I think of
CJ7.
CJ. I think Mork and Mindy. Do you remember that? You probably don't remember that TV show, Mork and Mindy.
I don't think I do.
It was I think it might have been in the 80s. I think it was in the 70s more, but I think I don't remember. Somebody put in the chat, but it was Robin Williams. It was like his first TV show way back when, and they lived in Boulder, Colorado, and they drove. I think it was a CJ7. It looked like that to me, and that's what I'll always think of. So cars are a little bit different now. Do you want to sort of get back into those? I mean, they are, like you said, they're very expensive and stuff. Are you looking to maybe get back into that as a hobby, or not really?
I like cars, but I don't think I like cars that much. I like them enough to where I'm gonna spend the time and the research to do my own work on it, so I'm not having somebody else do the work for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going to do anything crazy to it or do a bunch of high horsepower stuff, because also that's dangerous. Going fast, it's dangerous. It's not for everybody. I like the safety of my fish tanks.
Gotcha.
And it was something like I wanted to do, is just drive cars and go fast, but like not anymore.
Yeah, you sort of grew out of it, I guess.
I grew out of that. Yeah.
So you just want the car to be reliable, that you guys can depend on it, and then you want to know the ins and outs of it so that you can make sure it's running good, but it's not a hobby. Gotcha. Okay. All right. You mentioned work. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What do you do currently?
So right now I am an assistant manager at a Shell gas station in Jackson's. Well, it's Jackson's food store, not food store, but just Jackson's.
That's a chain of gas stations?
It's like a chain of gas stations.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
Since January.
Okay.
And I just recently got promoted. But
you were doing something outdoors, weren't you? I feel like you had. I know, or you worked graveyard shifts, right? You worked overnights for a long time. I remember last year, I think it was, right?
Yep.
What were you doing before you started doing this one?
So before, I worked at a food factory as a nut roaster in the middle of the night, the nighttime nut roaster.
Yeah, night.
Yep.
There's so much we could do with that. The nighttime nut roaster. I mean, that just sounds so wrong. The nighttime nut roaster.
Yeah, it was a fun job. I liked it. I handled a lot of nuts.
Yeah, like what kind? Like I mean, just a whole bunch of different kinds, cashews and stuff, and
A lot of cashews and almonds, and sometimes pecans on a good week.
and were they like candied or sugared or just roasted, pretty much?
Just pure raw, organic, and then we roasted them, and they would be ingredients for other stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I love cashews. I mean,
Oh, they're so good. You know how many bags I would take home of just straight, fresh roasted cashews?
oh, God, I bet that smelled delicious, man. I bet it
Oh
smelled
man,
delicious.
when you would walk up to the factory, it just smelled like Christmas.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's like when you go to the Renaissance Fair, a lot of times they have the honey roasted nuts there or something and different stuff. And they always, man, it makes my mouth water every single time. Okay, and what was before you were a nut handler?
I was doing cart repair.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because when I was driving around throughout Oregon and Washington, like I would go all the way up to Bellingham and Spokane and drive all the way down to like Madras and Bend and down south in Oregon.
Did you enjoy doing that? The driving part of it? Because you mentioned you did enjoy driving, but that seems, yeah.
No, I did not like driving a 20-foot van for miles on end. A big, heavy van, slow as hell.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go too fast, the whole thing's fucking freaked me out first time it happened.
Oh yeah, I bet. I've been in vehicles that were loaded wrong or something and started doing stuff like that. But you guys don't get real bad winters or anything like that, or real bad weather. I mean, plenty of rain, but you don't get a lot of snow or anything, right?
Not really. We get frozen roads and dumb drivers that don't know how to drive on frozen roads.
That's almost worse. The freezing rain is worse than snow. It really is to drive in.
Mm-hmm. And it's the people in big trucks that just go flying down these icy roads in winter, thinking they're in their big truck. Oh, I got this.
You mean like semis or like just like a big
4-wheel
drive or big SUV or something?
Like the Dodge.
Okay, okay. Yep. Same here. Those are always the people that are causing.
And then you see them a couple miles down and they're spun backwards, stuck in the snow.
Okay. And was there any other jobs that you did that were interesting or that you really enjoyed or stick out for you?
I did HVAC for a little bit, which was fun. I just kind of did that as a apprenticeship thing. It was my well, to get into that, I would have to talk about my last job, which we were doing, and that was we ran a farm, an indoor farm, and that was really cool. I really liked running an indoor farm. That was nice.
Hydroponics then mostly, or
all soil, in pots.
Yeah.
We used metal halides, like a ton of power, and I was the guy that trimmed all the plants. I was the guy that watered them and mixed all the nutrients and took care of them and got all the spider mites out. And I would stake them up and bonsai them. And it was cool. I would just create crazy stuff. I had my own forest to play with at 16, 17 years old.
How did you, was that family that was doing that, or how did you fall into doing that? Okay. And did you know a little bit about it before you got into it, or was it something that you learned as you went along?
So it was something my family got me into, and then the family member that got me into it messed us up and broke in and stole a bunch of stuff. And so I kind of took over her spot because I wasn't dumb. I'm not trying to be dumb. And so this guy, he was iffy about me because of it, because it was a family member and he was iffy about me. And so I would be like, okay, I get it. But it took a lot of trust to get that job back. And not just the job that I had, but the whole thing was mine. and I took care of it, and everything that came out of that house grew from a little plant like this big.
Nice. That I think I would enjoy that as well. That does sound like something that would be cool to do and different too. I mean, indoor farming, that's almost as much fun as a nighttime nut roaster.
Mm-hmm. And that was all under the table, and yeah, it wasn't like official.
What happened? Why did you stop working there? Why was there something bad that happened, or did you find something else that you liked? Or because it sounds like it would be a perfect fit for you.
The market crashed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once they legalized it and dispensaries popped up. Yeah.
I didn't know
our whole thing.
we were talking about that when I thought.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it low key.
That's okay. We could talk about that. It's legal, and it's legal there. It's legal here. I mean, it's legal, and I mean, I know federally it's still,
it's federally frowned upon.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's legal in so many states, and it's your people are making money off of it legally, but yet it's stupid. It's just stupid. And I would much rather see like my kids doing that as opposed to getting into drinking. Honestly, I think drinking is far, far worse and destroys far more lives than that does. So I have no problem with that at all. Of course, when I was a kid,
the real killer really was the power bill.
I bet,
because we were using metal halides, like 1,300 watt metal halides, and there were 6 in each room. And so imagine 1,300 watt heaters.
Yeah. So it was always warm in there, right?
It was always hot.
Yeah.
But the money and how much it cost to run just wasn't feasible. It cost too much to run that we were making. So we stopped that. Luckily, the guy that I was working for, he had a backup business doing HVAC. And so I kind of did that for a little bit. And I was his helper and learned how to read tapes and do straight lines with pipe and did a lot of different stuff that learned some different skills.
And is that guy a family member, or is he just somebody that
I treat him like family. He's like my family now. He wasn't, but he's better than any family I've had. Yeah. Some family that I've had.
Because it sounds like he sort of mentored you a little bit in those different things and brought you along with him like that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. He saw something in you and said, "Hey, I can help this kid." And yeah, that's awesome that you found somebody like that. Because it's sometimes it's hard to find that person that's willing to, take a chance. So
it's hard work though. It's hard work working in an attic in the summer.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Never done any of that, and I don't want to. Yeah,
you don't want to, Rico. You don't want to.
I've done my share of
manual furnace out of an attic in the middle of summer.
Yeah. Oh, I did construction work in Arizona in summertime. I did, but I did mostly finishing the trim work and stuff. So I was inside of homes, but they were unfinished homes. There's no air conditioning, but at least you were in the shade, So I did that for a while, and I've done different. I was a stucco hottie. That's where the guy that mixed up all the mud and you put it in the wheelbarrow and take it up the scaffolding to the guys for the stucco and stuff. And I've done my share of that kind of stuff, but I sure as hell don't enjoy it. I don't like any of it.
It was cool to learn the skills, but
yeah,
I don't think I want to do that. It was good money. Like, it's great money. You get paid good, but it's a lot of toll.
Yeah, definitely takes a lot out of you. And the knowledge is important to have, but so that you could do it for yourself, or at least know when somebody's bullshitting you when you're doing stuff for your home, getting a contractor to come in or something. But yeah, my father-in-law did that his entire life. He's 80 years old, and he retired. He retired sort of late. I think he was 70 when he retired, and he was still out there, slinging a hammer every day, just amazing. And he's still with us, so certain people can deal with it, so All right, we're at an hour already. Before we open it up to the chat, is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't touch on, or anything that that you feel like we should tell people, or if you want to do some promotional stuff for your channel, is there anything like that you want to talk about? Anything at all that you want to talk about before we get going?
Make sure you hit the like button. I'll say that. But not, I mean, y'all can subscribe to the channel if you want, but I'm not really here to push a ton of content. I'm just here to chat and see what's up. And it's been a long time waiting because, man, have these focus-ons been going on a while and been waiting to come on this.
You definitely were on my short list a long time ago to have come up, and then I got rid of the whole list. You're right, though. We've hung out on like Fish Fam Christmas. You had me come up. We've hung out and done stuff together, and you're right. This should have been done at least a year ago, I think. But there's a lot of people like that too in the communities that people like yourself that I've been around forever, and I enjoy their company, and that's a good time. Please, my email address is at the top of the screen up there, and if you wouldn't mind letting me interview you guys, send me an email. Just let me know, please. Again, there's no requirements. There's no big channel, small channels. It doesn't matter as long as you're a part of this community. I want to interview you and get to know more about you. So, okay, let's jump in here then. The very first one I see. Kyle said Stucco Hottie was Rico Stan's nickname in college. It's spelled with D's, but it sounds the same. Yeah. Let's see. And Zen Ginger, thank you so much. I was going to say that too. Do the @RicoStan for me, and that makes it pop out. I'll feed you the questions, but if you do see something that you want to address, I know you can see the chat. If you want to answer something, feel free. First one I got is from Tomatillo. Silver Creek says, if both of yous could pick one thing to change about the hobby/industry between both salt and freshwater, what would you change, and what drives you to that decision? So go ahead. Is there something that you would like to see different?
There is something I would like to see different. There is a lot of burn and turn. I see a lot of hobbyists going through a ton of different fish and not really enjoying the fish for what they are. They're just collecting a bat point. And I don't think we should be treating fish like a point system. These are live animals that we're talking about. And it's the same way in coral. We cut coral and we sell them. We just keep selling them for higher markup with stupider names. And I hate that about the saltwater industry because I don't know if you see it, but there are some goofy saltwater coral names, and they don't have that in the industry. In the real industry, we use scientific names or actual common names that have been made through propagation through decades. Like some of these corals that we've been propagating for over 30 years have a name. Not the coral that you're taking out of the ocean and cutting it up into smaller pieces and selling it out and giving it a name. That's not cool. And that's just what I see, a lot of burn and turn.
Yeah.
And so I even saw that myself with plants and some fish. So right now I'm like done getting new fish. I'm trying to keep the fish I have to the best of my ability.
I like that answer, and I saw it with myself as well because at first there I was just I bought a whole bunch of tanks. I didn't do as bad as other people that I've seen that take on way too much, but I definitely did that, but I didn't get rid of any fish, and I did take care of. I've never had like a massive die off or anything. I've never lost a tank or anything like that. I've lost fish, obviously, but yeah, I can see that for sure. People don't have the patience, and they just dive in, and all of a sudden they've got 50 tanks, and they've been keeping fish for a year, and they're in over their head.
Well, not just that, but a lot of these old timers that have been doing it for a long time too. I'm not trying to be like offensive, but they buy a fish, breed it, You get a bat point, sell it. Buy
gotcha.
a fish, breed it, get a point, sell it.
Yeah.
That is not sustainable. I mean, if you're breeding a fish because you like it and you're keeping a colony of it and you're trying to breed it out, yes. But if you're just breeding a fish to get a point and then sell it all, get rid of the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's not
just to say you bred that fish. Yeah.
just to say you bred that fish.
Yeah. I mean, it is fun to breed fish, but I don't do it like that. Like the Gudeians that I have that are on the CARES list, I think that's important to breed those and to get them out to as many people as possible, which I will be bringing quite a few of those to the Keystone Clash to people. I'll give those away to people there. I think that's a great quest or great answer. and I like it. Mine would be sort of like that, but it would be more, the big box stores, what everybody always hears about. No, it's not every Petco, it's not every PetSmart, it's not every big, Pet Supplies Plus or whatever. Not every one of them is the same. Some have better, but how many times are they selling common plecos with a 10-gallon tank that the person bought there right then? They're taking home that fish with the tank that they just bought that's not even set up. I just wish that there was more educational things happening to those people in the big box stores. And there's probably, local fish stores that do that as well. I haven't seen that myself, but I'm sure there are some. So that's what I would like to change, is that maybe some regulations in place so that you couldn't buy a tank, your first fish tank, but then how do you prove it? And there's just so much there. It'd be a nightmare to manage, but I think. Go ahead. No, you go.
I don't think we need common plecos, period. Why are we importing them?
I agree. I mean, it is sort of cool that some of those companies bring the eggs that they catch out of Florida. They're out there gathering, so there's less there. But there shouldn't be there in the first place, and they shouldn't be in the hobby. I agree with you 100%. I do. That's always... who was going to ask us that? It's Nathan, I think, is going to ask us that. What fish would you like to not see in the hobby? My answer is always the common pleco, every single time. And the ones that are...
Mine's the red-tailed cat. I see a lot of those.
Same basic reason, though. They get huge. Okay. Next up, we've got, and thank you guys for coming in. Patty said, "Oh God, he's going to start reading. I better be on my best behavior." Why would you start now, Patty? I mean, don't change.
Patty on good behavior? What?
I know. That's not Patty. Zenny says, if Ian could have only corals but still keep freshwater fish, or not keep any freshwater but could keep fish and corals with salt. Jesus, you're killing me here. Or both fish, no coral, which would it be? So she's asking, would you want to keep corals and saltwater fish, or only freshwater fish, and no corals? It's Jesus Christ, you're killing me, woman. Or both fish and no coral. So saltwater, and which would you choose?
I would do the freshwater fish and saltwater fish, because you can't have corals without fish unless you're manipulating the water a lot. But the corals need fish, is my opinion.
Okay.
Without the fish, you can't have corals.
I'm sorry. It's just funny. Okay. Next up, it jumped on me here. Here we go. Next up is Myrtle. Myrtle, classic question, please. And again, Myrtle has asked this. Actually, it's good to see you, Myrtle, because Myrtle doesn't get to see too many of the focus ons these days. So it's really good to see you. But the very first focus on we did, Myrtle asked that question. So, and this is number like 104. So it's been asked in every single, I believe, I could be wrong. There might be some there at the beginning, but it's been asked in just about every stream. And a bunch of other people have those too. So his question is, do you remember the Myrtle question?
Oh, I forget it every time.
What would I change about you, and what would you change about me?
Okay.
And sometimes I have an answer ready. Sometimes I when I see that somebody asks that, I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to say for this. But with you, a lot of people though are like that too. I don't have any idea what I would change about you. Partly because you are a lot younger than me, and you have so much of your life ahead of you. But you seem to have found a path, right? You seem to at least have a path forward, and you've got you've got a good relationship, which I think is important. I think being in a relationship is super important. Doesn't you've got that and you're very happy there because you've talked about that on your own streams and stuff. Kat's been around and talked about that. So yeah, I don't really have much that I can't think of anything that I would change about you. Right now at all. What about you? You got anything?
I don't know.
It's a hard question.
It's a hard question. It's always a hard question.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so good. And if you don't have anything, that's okay. You don't have to have something.
The only thing I wish for you, Rico, is optimal health.
That's sort of the standard answer, but it's a good answer. It's a great answer because it's the biggest thing that's affecting my life. So I do appreciate that answer and would like that myself. Okay, only Oscars. I missed June's. Hi, June. When will Atkins get another Oscar? I'll send him a few.
I don't have any Oscars right now, but I did have one a few years ago when I first started. Like the first year jumping in, I got a 55, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get an Oscar fish."
So you're not interested now in having any?
I do love Oscars, but not in a 55. I think if I'm gonna do Oscars again, it's gonna be at least 125. But I want to do it like June, like at 200 or 300 or something. So until I can get something like that, I can't keep Oscars. I'm risking it keeping a flower horn in a 40, which he's going to get a 90 soon. But he's still tiny. Or she, who knows yet.
Excuse me. Okay, and next up is Mark, Pile Aquatics. He says, this is a deep philosophical question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, hot dog is not a sandwich.
Why?
Because the meat of a hot dog is not. It's not sandwich meat.
I disagree, and I can see when people say that it's not a sandwich, that it's a taco. Or closer because of the shape of the bread, the fact that the bread is connected. Pita pockets, same type of thing. But I think it is a sandwich. I think it is. It's a hot dog. I mean, that's first.
It's a hot dog.
Yeah, it's a hot dog. But I think it is. I think it is a sandwich because it is meat or it's ingredients.
It's ingredients. Well, depends on who you get it from. Some hot dogs or sausages are good.
Yeah. Some are, parts is parts. But it's between bread. Even a piece of bread between two other pieces of bread is a bread sandwich. But I get it. It's the connection. It's the fact that it's, in a C shape. It's a taco shell that makes people say no. Okay. Next up, let's see. And hello, everybody. I see Eekians. And I'm so sorry I missed your stream today. Adam McReynolds, hello. Aquatic Moose, Jay, just everybody. I thank you guys. There are 58 people watching. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Saturday night. Really appreciate it. So your favorite YouTuber outside of fishy stuff?
Is
it that guy?
Crime pays, but botany doesn't. You ever watch that?
No.
Crime pays, but botany doesn't.
Oh, crime pays, but botany doesn't. Doesn't. Yep. I thought you said botany does it. Doesn't. Okay.
Yep.
And that he's obviously a botanist.
Yep. He talks a lot about like fungus and plants and travels all over the world, and you learn just stuff about plants and the ecology of where they come from, and it's nice. It's like a weird crossover.
Does he have a strong New York accent?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I've seen some of his videos like about English ivy. Like he just absolutely hates English ivy, right? It's one of the things that, yeah. I think I've seen some of his stuff, if that's what I'm thinking of. I think I have.
Did I say English? Or did you say English accent?
No, I meant, did I say English?
New York?
New York. I probably said English the second time. New York accent. Like, yeah, like Patty.
Mm-hmm.
Like Maria Z. Let's see. So next up is Todd, TJ Autocross. Money is no object. What would your dream vehicle to swap a rotary engine into be? And he says you can be as detailed as you want with the plan.
Oh, man. Wouldn't it be funny to put a twin rotor in the brand new C8 Corvette? You know, the brand new Corvette that came out. It looks like a Ferrari. It's all ugly, but the engine's in the back.
One the other day. Yeah, there was one at the dealership the other day that we saw.
I want to see a rotary put in one of those. That would be cool, and just have the turbos and everything. That'd be cool. It'd be difficult to make it all-wheel drive, but I would try to make it all-wheel drive.
Yeah, and do you like those new Corvettes really at all, or?
I've always loved the Corvettes, but I don't like what they did with this new one.
Even the last one.
The last one, the C7, yeah. I didn't like.
Like the old one, like the Stingray, that. To me, that's
the C6. What they were going with the C6 with the curved front, and that thing was just sexy. The C6, ooh, that's a good ear.
I don't know what it is. Next up is Jenna. She says the Freaky Friday question, and thank you, Jenna. So that one is, what two people in the Fish fam would you like to see do a Freaky Friday and switch bodies for like a weekend or something, or a week or whatever, for a short period of time?
That's an odd question.
I love it.
Trying to think about it.
We could come back to it if you'd like to, if you want to think on it a little bit. But I love the question, especially if you can really figure out like super contrasting, that super just, people that aren't anything like each other. And maybe even don't even like each other, but maybe would find some understanding by switching for a week.
Oh, what would be funny? Matt and Patty.
Oh no! Oh boy!
I don't know why that just popped in my head, but
we're gonna just scroll along on that one. Big Cat wants to know if you believe in aliens.
Of course I do. People might call me crazy, but I've seen a UFO with my own eyes in Arizona. Okay.
That's actually sort of common up there around Payson too. There's actually
and
quite
it was
a few.
In Payson.
There's quite a few. It's sort of a common place that people see them.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy. I was with 3 other people, and we were all just kind of hanging out. We weren't smoking or drinking. We were just outside playing with our bikes, and we'd look up, and we just see this big ass triangle in the sky. This huge triangle, like not that, like close enough to where we can see it, and it had lights going all the way around the triangle, and then lights in the center as a dome. And then we look up, look down, and look up again, it's gone. And we all saw it. Like we looked at each other like, did you just see that? Freaked out. we were like 11 years old. 11 or 10, something like
I
that.
definitely believe in the possibility, but I don't know that I've never had an experience like that, but I just can't believe that there isn't somewhere out there. Like somebody else, I remember who it was. I don't know if we'll ever actually meet them. Maybe it was Mark Pyle. I can't remember who said it, but we might not ever meet them, but they're out there. I think they just have to be. Zen Ginger is next. Oh, go ahead.
Did you see that one, like, this live court hearing about UFOs?
Yeah, the Congress thing recently, and
yeah, I thought that was pretty freaking wild. I've never really think they would have something like that. Like, just
hey, if we have knowledge of it and it doesn't, I don't know how I feel about that whole thing. I mean, very definitely there is probably. I said very definitely probably. There very definitely could be that knowledge, and we've heard about that for forever, for a long time. People saying that we had knowledge of it. So, yeah, could be. Zenny wants to know, if you were a dessert, what would you be? These questions are great. I just absolutely love them. Because there's some of them seem sort of silly. That seems like a silly question, but I think it sort of tells a little bit too on what you decide. It sort of does let us know a little bit more about your personality by what your choices are.
I'd probably go with the cinnamon roll.
Yeah, raisins or no raisins?
Oh yeah, I got a raisins in there.
Nope, we're done. You're out of here. See ya. We're in the stream. Get the fuck out of here. I mean,
all right, I'm out.
You had me until you said raisins, but
oh man, I love raisins. They're good for you.
I hate raisins.
I think
with a passion. I mean, I'll go to war over raisins. I'll light somebody up over raisins. Oinky has been a member for 17 months, which is amazing. She says, for us both, what is your dream fish, dream setup?
Dream fish, dream setup.
That's hard, right?
That is hard because I like both salt and fresh, but I think my dream setup would be like a South American discus style blackwater tank, but fully automated sump roller mat filter, like Neptune, or I wouldn't go Neptune, I'd go Coral View because that's what I'm using now, but Coral View Hydros controller. Those are nice. If you guys ain't using them.
That's a good one. I can't answer this. Definitely the setup part of it would be automated as much as possible, because that's why I am getting rid of some tanks, is because it's hard. I'm struggling to keep up with maintenance a little bit, so that's why I've been getting rid of tanks. I only peaked at like 14 or 15. I never had a ton of tanks, and now I'm down to like 8. So, but I'm going farther, and it would definitely be automated. In freshwater, I'm not interested in salt right now. I've only been keeping fish this time for 3 years. June was 3 years, so I still have so much to keep. So what fish would be in there? I have no idea. It would be heavily planted. A community tank with a lot of different types of fish that live well together. Like a biotope type thing would be cool, where it was, all things that came from the area, like what you were describing with your first tank. Something like that would be good. Okay. I got to scroll down here. Myrtle said, Ian, save yourself. There's cougars in the chat. I missed that.
I think I missed that too.
The cougars are out tonight, June said. June said, delicious. What kind of dessert would you be? And June, only Oscar said delicious. That's beautiful. Dee Dee said, mind your own business, Myrtle. Mount Henry, hello. And again, this is another one of those questions that I just absolutely love, because it's it's part of the show. It's there every single time we do the focus on, and I love that the show. It's everybody. Like it's part of it. The chat is a very very important part of it, and I just absolutely love that. So her question is, what one of your tanks would you live in, and why?
Like as a fish, myself.
Or it doesn't have to be a fish. Maybe you're a human that could breathe underwater, but you live in that. You live in that tank comfortably.
Definitely not in the coral tank. That's just a death sentence.
Stephen P.
I think. I'll go with this little 20-gallon I got right next to me down here. It's just all plants and some cories and rasboras, but it's Bucephalandra and different Anubias and Bobitis and a Panageton, some Crypts, Cryptnuriae Rosen Maiden, which is a pretty cool plant that I got from Bentley at the first year at Fishtoberfest. And I'm sharing that around the clubs and to different hobbyists and stuff.
What kind of light is on that tank?
Down here, they call it the Lomni Pixie 30, the P30. It's the Amazon light. It's like a little puck light.
Okay.
I don't even have the light on.
That's one of the nice things about those smaller tanks like that is, I mean, I have a little 5-gallon here that it's just got the LEDs that come with these little plastic 5-gallon tanks. But the plants, they don't need a lot more because it's so shallow, right? It just doesn't. All kinds of. It's got a ton of stuff in there, just a ton of different plants in that little 5-gallon because it's just so shallow and the light gets all the way down there. June became a member. Thank you, June. Appreciate that.
Woo!
Let's see. Zenny says, what's the rest of Ian's ideal life in 5 words? So what would you love the rest of your life? So you could say a sentence that's 5 words, or you could say just, 5 words that would describe your ideal life going forward.
Oh.
She asked some good questions, right?
I think peace and just making friends and learning. Yeah, I think that's 5, right?
Peace, making friends.
Oh, okay, that's 2. 3.
Excuse me.
Just becoming more of an adult, because I'm young and need to learn that stuff. I don't have. Well, that's more than 5 words. So I don't know. I'm tough at those kind of.
Yeah.
I don't do interviews very much, if you can tell.
It's a good one. I think you're doing an awesome job. It's been a lot of fun so far. We still have a half an hour. Do you need to get a drink or anything like that? Or are you still good? You got one. Okay.
Good job.
Okay. Let's see. So the next one I saw Delightful Delilah come in, and Stephen P. Thank you so much. He just gifted 5 memberships. We'll get down to that one. I got to scroll way up. It jumped on me big time. Here we go. Oinky says, outside of our tanks, what is your dream pet to own in a group? And she said, with a name like Oinky, guess what hers is?
Ooh.
I'm going to assume pigs. Maybe guinea pigs, or maybe
those little teacup pigs. I don't know what they call them. Teacup pigs.
In a group too, she said. So what kind of pet would you like, or animal in a group?
I've kind of wanted snakes. Snakes are cool. but there's not very communal snakes that you can keep in a group.
Really?
There are
'Cause
some
Indiana
like
Jones taught me that they live all together underground, like in a whole bunch. I saw that right in the movie Indiana Jones. I mean, he was right there.
I don't want
No.
those snakes. I want the little snakes, like the I don't know what they call them, pig nose snakes. They're really cute. They like flip over and whenever they get freaked out.
Those, I don't have anything against snakes, but I just don't feel like. I mean, I don't mind them. I'll pick them up and stuff, but I never wanted to keep any. But I think I would like to keep like a bunch of goats. I mean, goats would be cool. Goats would be cool. Okay, next up is Whip. Oh, here's one. Nathan, seeing how y'all answered the one part. Yeah, that was because that was his regular question. We talked about what fish we didn't want to see. So what fish, let's say you could only keep one fish. That's it. Everybody in the hobby was able to keep just this one fish. What kind of fish would it be? Was the
So
only one. Go ahead. Sorry.
One species, or are we going one genus?
We'll say that. Yeah.
One species.
We'll say like, guppies. We'll say like, you can't say cichlids because that's just there's too much there, So you got to narrow it down a little bit.
Okay. I think if everybody had to keep one fish, the coolest fish gotta be those killifish.
Okay, good answer.
You think killifish is too broad?
No. I mean, there is quite a few of them, but I think it's small enough, right? With cichlids, that's massive, right? There's just many. But killifish, what are they? I don't know how many there are in the hobby. I feel like somebody said there wasn't a massive amount of them, but in the hobby right now, I don't think there's a ton. I like that answer. I do. And there's a lot of different ones, and they're on my short list too. Once I get to where I'm comfortable with the tanks, I am going to put up some killies. I haven't decided which ones yet. I think the blue Galaris were my favorites, but I haven't decided. I like it. Killifish. Next up is Whip. What's up, dude? So you suddenly have generational wealth, meaning you will never, ever have to worry about money ever again. You can do anything you want. What are you doing and where are you doing it?
Packing up and moving to South America. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Where in South America? Any place specifically?
Man, I would totally drop everything and go like work for Dr. Anthony in Peru. Like that would just be cool. I'd love to just live there and just do that for the rest of my life. That would be cool.
I mean, he does those internships all the time. I don't know how you would work that out though, because leaving work behind for a couple of weeks and leaving Kat behind, she'd have to go with you, right? For a couple of weeks. Have you guys ever really been apart for any length of time?
When I did my cart work, I did leave for like weeks at a time, but no, we haven't really left for like a month away from each other.
Yeah. I have a friend who, he travels a lot for work, and he would be gone for like a full week, and then he'd come home for like 2 days, and then he'd be gone for a week, and he absolutely loved it. And we were talking, and Michelle and I at the time had been married for like 23 years, and that week I had to go down to another place where I was setting up a distribution center for a liquor distributor I was working for. And that was the first time in 23 years that we did not sleep together, that we had slept apart. In 23 years, we did not, that whole time we were never apart one single night in that 23 years. So it was just, I didn't even think about it until we had a conversation about that, about how he was gone so much. 23 years without ever being apart. So you'd love to go down and work with Dr. Anthony. So you wouldn't worry about money at all. You would just enjoy the work itself.
I would just live in the jungle, man. Live in the jungle and work at a fish laboratory. Like, that would be cool. So cool.
Okay. Next up is Dapper Dennis. Is there a person from history that you would like to meet? This is a two-parter too. We'll start with that one. Somebody from, doesn't have to be ancient history either. Just could be somebody that you don't have access to now. They're no longer with us now.
Oh, man. This guy right here, Jake Adams. I would love to have a conversation with him, but he is no longer with us. And he passed away last year, which really sucks. But yeah, he's a really cool guy that I wish I would have been able to talk to.
I didn't know him at all, but I remember when he passed away and how upset so many people were. And obviously, being so young and leaving behind a very young family. And a lot of people were just distraught by his passing. So you could tell that he was at least well-liked, if not well-loved by a lot of people.
Not everybody loved him because he had a very strong opinion about things. But that's why, I have a strong opinion about things. It is what it is. I really like him, not just for the whole clout factor that he was some big YouTuber, but he was one of the only YouTubers that actually cared about the hobby, and one of the only YouTubers that didn't make a crazy business out of his corals. He created a studio to document and educate people on corals.
Gotcha. So his motivations, you liked his motivations better than some other bigger YouTubers. Gotcha. Okay. The second part to that, is there a time period from history that you would like to go visit?
Ooh. Can we rewind the clock 20 years? That'd be cool.
Yeah. Just 20 years? What would you want to go back 20 years for?
Just to live in the early 90s.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It wasn't that great. It wasn't.
I don't know. It seems pretty cool back then, before telephones, before Facebook, before all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in the early 90s, there was still stuff, mostly 70s was when I was a young man. And
30 years, Myrtle.
Yeah, 20 years would be the 2000s, right? Which is weird, but okay. Next up, Myrtle. Eakin suddenly has the ability to draw anything he wants with very high precision. What are you drawing? That's a good one. Do you enjoy drawing?
Yeah, I used to actually draw quite a bit. I used to draw a lot, and I wish I still had my art, but a lot of it is gone. It's just.
Is there any place? Do you have pictures on Instagram or anything of any of your art or anything? Is there any place we can see any of it?
My new logo. So I drew this a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I noticed it was different.
Yeah, I was just playing around with the art app on my phone with the stylus, and I drew an Aquapora coral, which is on the right, and then the green plant is Echinodorus iguazu, which is a really cool Amazon sword plant. And that's some Acropora tort coral.
See, that's very cool. See, I did not know that you were artistic like that.
I did a lot of pencil and charcoal, and I did a lot of nature stuff like birds and scenery, and I even drew a lot of fish back then. Before I even was interested in fish, I had books of fish that I was drawing, and it's I need to get back into it, but I haven't.
Yeah, you do. I think that is I mean, we have so many amazing artists in our community, but it's still, you know, it's like magic to me. It's like magic to me. That, you know, Priscilla, I remember watching Priscilla when she used to do those art streams, and it would start out with just a few lines, and next thing you know, it's all coming together, and it just looks amazing. And it's like magic. I just don't have that skill at all, and I can't even think about how it just doesn't relate for me for some reason. There's a disconnect there where I can't do that at all. So when I see people that are, you know, able to do that kind of stuff, it's amazing. I hope you do. There's something I would change about you. I hope that you get back into your art and you start doing some stuff. You know, I think it's a great outlet too for people. You know, I think it's an amazing outlet. Let's see. Next one. Mikey B says, if you could invent something that has already been invented, what would it have been? So you basically get credit for it, but you brought it into the world. What would you have liked to bring to humanity? An invention.
The roller mat filter.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
It goes in a sump, and some of them are even cheaper than your FX6. And they take all the waste out of the water, not just store it in a canister. And all you have to do is change this roll about once every 3 months. Just pop the roll out, pop in a new one, fold it up. And it just automatically, as the water drains in, it's a fleece that's on a roller, and it's got a sensor. So as the water's going through the fleece and it's getting more dirty, the water level rises, hits the sensor, and it automatically rolls it up. And so the water level drops, creating a new thing. And it stays out of the water, not just decaying in the water, causing high nitrates and phosphates.
It looks like some kind of toilet paper for disabled people.
Yeah. It's a toilet paper filter.
It's, you know, that's what it looks like. But I had never even heard of that. That's pretty cool.
They're big in saltwater tanks. Everybody uses, or all the big guys use them in saltwater. Nobody uses them in freshwater, and except for Jake Adams, he used them in freshwater on his sump tanks. And so I'm hoping with my new freshwater sump tank that I'm doing, I want to get one of those on there because I think it's a lot better than just cleaning stuff.
This one's out of, I just found one on Amazon. It said it's out of stock. I wanted to see what the price range were on these. I just clicked the first link I saw that was Amazon. Oh, Reef Builders. You were talking about Reef Builders, right?
They don't sell stuff, so they won't list prices, but you can look on Bulk Reef Supply. They'll have prices.
Oh, gotcha. Red Sea. Okay. Huh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Okay,
and
next
it's like
up,
it's a direct replacement for like any mechanical filtration, filter socks or foams, whatever.
Let's see. So next up, I'm scrolling down. I'm not seeing any more Rico popping out. They are sharing the link like Crime Pays, but Botany doesn't. Let's see. That was a half an hour ago. That's how far behind we are.
Oh man.
Okay, here we go. Zen Ginger. Yeah, we are pretty far behind. See, and a lot of times I have to go back and not a lot of times I have to go back and rewatch these because I'm only looking for the Rico Stan stuff. So I miss out on all the conversation. Steven said he's dying. I missed out. There's a whole bunch of funny stuff happening. So it's always a good idea to go back and just watch the chat, which for some reason takes forever on my channel. I notice other people usually it comes up quicker. I make sure to always have the chat replay there, but sometimes it takes like a day or even two before it comes up. Okay, so Zenny said Ian's last meal. Prison rules. So anything in the world that you want, what would it be?
coconut shrimp with some jasmine rice and an egg. I'd be happy with that.
So the egg is with the rice, but the shrimp is separate, right?
No, it's all together.
Oh no, you had me there for a
See,
minute.
you have the coconut shrimp whole. You eat
Yeah.
it. As you eat it, you gotta eat the rice and egg.
Okay. Because I do love coconut shrimp. It is one of my
I
favorites.
love coconut shrimp.
I do too. It's one of my favorites. I have so many favorites though. Delightful Delilah said, chiming in on the hot dog based on history, not a sandwich. The bun was an Americanized afterthought, so they wouldn't burn their hands eating a sausage. But it's still ingredients between two pieces of bread, or it's not really two pieces of bread, and that's where I get that people say it's not. There was a lot of talk about that, if it was or wasn't. Okay, Myrtle said you only have one vegetable you can eat for the rest of your life. What are you living on? But it can't be potatoes or other root vegetables. So any other vegetable.
Baby spinach. Baby spinach.
And
I can eat that all day. Raw, or you can saute it and cook it with stuff. But just raw, cold, fresh out of the fridge. It's crisp, fresh.
Yeah.
Put it on a sandwich. Put it on a burger. Anything that you can substitute lettuce with, use spinach. It's so much more better for you, and it tastes so much better. And I swapped lettuce for spinach. That would be my vegetable.
I'm with you on that one. I absolutely love spinach. Then I first really started liking it when I was a produce manager way back a long time ago in Arizona. We would get this bacon dressing that you were supposed to warm up, and that with it, I can't remember the brand, but it was oh my God, it was so good, and I was addicted after that. Now we're back at the raisins thing. That's how far back I am. And there's where Stephen gave the 5 memberships. Thank you so much, my friend. Pyle, Shane, Mountain Greenery, Jeff Kane, and Coral were all given memberships. Thank you so much, sir. Catahulis, what's up, Cat House? Favorite kids cartoon and adult animated series.
Favorite kids cartoon. Oof. I think I'm gonna go with Ben 10. That was like the one show I really liked growing up.
Yeah,
but I would have to watch it like kind of on the laptop. I couldn't watch it on the TV because we didn't have cable. I'd have to use the internet. And they have back when Cartoon Network was actually cool and you could watch all the shows off Cartoon Network.
They still let you watch some, but it's there's a lot of ads in it, and unless you pay for it, I think I could be wrong even about the pay, but because Venture Bros was my favorite adult cartoon. So that's your kids one. What's your favorite adult animated?
Initial D.
I've never watched it.
It's kind of corny, but it's really cool. I like it. It's one of my favorite.
Is it
the live action movies suck, but the animation's kind of goofy, but they nail it on the car sounds and they nail it on the storytelling. It's a little slow in the beginning, but once it picks up, it's really a good story.
Is there a lot of humor in it too? Is it like inappropriate adult humor or not really?
There's some inappropriate jokes, but not a whole lot. It's pretty serious and dramatic, and but still fun.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to say Bugs Bunny would be my favorite kids. I absolutely love Bugs Bunny, but the adult one, definitely Venture Bros. They just did a movie for their wrap up, and I'm so sad that the thing is over with. It's a lot like Johnny Quest. For anybody who doesn't know what Venture Bros is, they make fun of Johnny Quest, but it's very inappropriate humor. But there's also some deep storytelling too in it, and it's just great. I absolutely love it. I can watch it over and over and over again. Oh, I missed Scuba Steve's. Thank you, Zenny. Scuba Steve says, if you could take anyone's tank in the fish fam for your own, whose tank and which one? And why? Whose tank are you taking?
I don't know. There's so many good tanks. I would take Danikin's 240, his discus tank.
Oh, is that one of the ones that's behind him? No, that's not discus behind him, right?
No, that's the one in his, I think they call it the craft room.
Yeah, okay. We've only got 10 minutes left. There's no way I'm still a half an hour behind, so I apologize in advance to anybody for not getting to all of them. But again, we'll do a part 2 at some point in the future. So we'll try and get to a few more here. You have to either clean 20 sponge filters by hand every hour of the day, or dunk your arm into tanks with 3 inches of 3 inches of duckweed and not wipe it off. Also, every hour of the day. Which one?
I'm cleaning sponge filters.
The duckweed just bothers you.
It bothers me, the stickiness. I hate duckweed in my tanks.
That's
why I love my festivums. They eat it all.
Doesn't bother me. In fact, I wanted to do the duckweed tattoo, where it's just a few here and then like a line of it here. Somebody said that Rachel O'Leary has that already, but I would love to do that. Okay, next up, Mikey B. Oh, we got that one. Yep, they invented something. Can he show us his beauty of a flower horn? Zenny would like to see that. If there's a way for you to, can you do any close up? And there's Ed. Hi, Ed. Hi, Melvin.
Yeah, look at Tommy Lee.
Why'd you name him Tommy Lee?
Greg named him that. I forget the reference. But apparently it has something to do with big cocks, I think.
Okay. Because Tommy Lee was the drummer for Motley Crue, but he's the one who's had the sex tape with what's her name? Priscilla. Oh God, what's her name? I can't believe I forgot her name. Chad will tell us. Here, let me put you on leave it there for a minute. Let me put you on the big screen so they can see it better. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. And while we're looking at that, my brother Chattanooga Ed wants to know, what's the weirdest dream that you can remember?
Oh, that's a tough one because I don't really remember dreams. I've had a lot of weird ones, but I don't remember them. It's like you remember a dream when you have it the morning after and you don't remember the next day. I don't know if anyone else has that, but I have shitty memory when it comes to dreams.
Yeah. I find if I have a dream that I really want to remember, I tell somebody right away as soon as I can. As soon as I wake up, I tell somebody about it, and then it's there. And thank you, Delilah. She said the plants are looking on point. I've had some weird ones where I've invented things. I invented something called the hat cup of coffee. It was like a fedora that was a thermos. You filled it up with coffee and it would keep your head warm in the wintertime. And when I woke up, I did tell my wife, Michelle, about it. And then for like a week, we'd be having a conversation just out of the blue. I'd say, hat cup of coffee. Instead of hot cup of coffee, it was a hat cup of coffee. Hat cup of coffee. She absolutely hates hat cup of coffee.
Hat.
3 inches of, yeah, I know. There's Jorge Mexicali. Hello, dude. If Ian could only keep freshwater or saltwater, which one?
If I could only keep one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I think I'm choosing salt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just more variety here. Let me get you back here. More variety? What
Not
is it
because
about the
of
salt?
variety, just because of the challenge of saltwater.
More involved.
More involved, but I just really love the fish and the corals, and yeah, if I had to choose one, it would be that.
Ed had a dream. He's going to text me. It was a funny dream. And Fishy on coming in saying hi. And actually, I am at the bottom of the chat. That worked out really good. So if I missed your question, we've got just a few. We got about 5 minutes left. Please repost it. I'm at the bottom of the chat now, so I probably missed some in there. I apologize for anybody's question I missed. And while we're ended up here, thank you so much for the membership, Stephen P. The super chats. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We've got now next Saturday won't be a focus on. Next Saturday is the Fish Fam auction on Skipper's channel. So make sure you go check that out if you haven't seen that yet. But the following Saturday, Larry D will be with us. And it's funny because Ian and Larry D are both people that I've hung around with for a very long time that just now getting around to interviewing. So I'm sure there's a lot of other people like that too. And again, if you wouldn't mind me interviewing you, and again, it's not you asking me. You're not asking me to do it. You're just saying, hey, I'm okay with you adding me to the list. My email address is at the top of the screen. Just hit me up, please. Ed said, do you think you'll grow a beard like mine in 65 years? He says, you've got the hair down. Do you think you'll grow a beard like mine in 65 years? 65 years. That would make me 90, Ed, because he's 25. That would make me,
I don't think I don't shave as much as I should, but yeah, I'm keeping the hair, and once it comes in, I'm probably gonna keep it clean because clean face. Clean face is nice.
I barely even trim mine up these days. About once a month, I give it a quick going over. Oiki wants to know what's your favorite hybrid fish, and she says hers is her beloved blood parrots.
Favorite hybrid fish. Ooh. Well, my favorite right now is obviously my flower horn. He is the biggest hybrid of hybrids. But a hybrid fish that I don't have that's really cool are hybrid pygmy angelfish in saltwater. And they cost a stupid amount of money, but they are so cool. Like there's a hybrid between a lemon peel and an eblei angelfish, and they're crazy. They got like yellows and pinks and tans and reds, and they only get like that.
Cool. I think I have seen those. Patty is very concerned about my genital region. All right, I think this is good enough. We're close enough. So, thanks everybody. Again, Ian, was there anything that you wanted to talk about or you wanted to mention before we go that we didn't hit on?
I think we got it all pretty much. Just never stop learning. Enjoy your fish for what they are, even if other people don't like them. Just keep them happy, and they will reward you with bright colors and awesome behavior.
I like it. Thanks for joining us, everybody. There's still, a lot of streams left still tonight. You can, go to fishfam.link and you can see the calendar there and see who's coming up. And if you join the Discord server, there is a section on there where it actually tells you that this person is live. And some of the people that have come up on there, I've never heard of before. It happens once in a while. So it's a good way to learn about new people, but also see who's live. So thank you guys for hanging out this whole time. Thanks, Ian, so much. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. And I'm clicking buttons.